y'all, it's your girl Achara G. I'm back with another video. Today I'm going to show you how I made this lace frontal wig. So let's get right into it. So I already have some of my needles threaded because it makes things go a lot faster and smoother. So the placement of your lace front is so important. So make sure you place it on the head correctly. Do this rainbow shape kind of situation. That's the best way I can kind of explain it. So the ears of the lace front is supposed to like hang off like that. It's not supposed to go to the back. And I'll show you why. So if you pull your lace frontal down in the middle and it forms this like M shape, then you know you place it on there correctly, and it's gonna automatically fall about 1.5 inches in front of the cap, and that's what you want. That's okay for your lace front to be a little loose in the front. The front is not your main concern. Your main concern is the back. So this is what you don't want to do. You don't want to pull it to the back. That's going to mess your whole wig up and it's not going to fit your head. So again, it's okay if it's loose in the front. Just focus on the back. So moving to the back, I'm going to be putting my T-pins at the nape of the neck just to make sure everything stays in place. These are definitely going to be your best friends, so make sure you purchase some of these at your local beauty store. So starting to sew the frontal, I like to knot it about 2 to 3 times, and then I just go ahead and sew. I think sewing is pretty much easy. I mean, as you can see, just like sewing, and I like to sew closely just to be sure that my wig is very flat, because I do not like any lumps or humps and things like that on my wig. Also I'm sewing through the thick part of the lace, and also you see the thick part of the cap, the lines, them 2 lines, you do not want to sew on that part. Those it actually keeps the wig to keep stretching. So also, once we get to the other side, I'll show you another thing that I didn't get to show you on this side. I didn't say this, but make sure you put T-pins in the back of the frontal on the sides, just to make sure everything stays in place while you sew the frontal down. Okay, now this thick part of the cap, which is called the elastic band, you don't want to sew under that. You want to sew through, because if you sew under, then it'll keep the wig from stretching. So just be mindful when you are in those areas. When you are in the areas about where the 2 lines are with all the thread at, you don't want to sew on that at all. And of course, on the thick part on the sides of the cap, you have no choice but to sew. You just want to sew through it and not under. So I'm showing you how the threading looks, how the stitching looks, I mean, whatever you want to say, how the consistency is. You want to make sure you keep the same consistency throughout it, and you don't have to do it as close as I did, but I wouldn't suggest to do it too far apart, because you want to make sure everything is flat as possible. So yeah, so just be mindful with that, and if you're doing all these things correctly, your wig should come out flawless. You know, it's not too hard. I mean, you know, I just take practice. So moving to the nape of the neck, since this is the thick part of the cap, again, we sewing through it and not under. And if you feel like you're gonna mess this part up, you can also skip this part, because this is in the back of the neck, and the hair is just like, it don't matter really. So because it's in the very back, so you can skip this part if you want. So I'm just gonna sew from left to right until I get to the middle, and then I'll start to do form like a smile, and then when I get to the very top, I'm gonna start going straight across to close everything out and marry everything together. I like to sew mine in singles when I'm doing a wig. You usually use more hair when you're making a wig, because if I was doing a sew-in, I would probably double mine, but since we're doing a wig, I'm singling it, and plus I only had 3 bundles, and when you have just 3 bundles and you got long bundles like 20, 24, 26, 28, you want to sew in singles. But if I was to have 4 to 5 bundles, then I probably would double until I get to the top, then you want to single. So I know a lot of people don't like to cut their tracks. Sometimes it's necessary to cut the track, especially when you get to the top of your installs, because you want everything as flat as possible. You do not want any humps and lumps, because then you'll have to use more hair just to cover it. So you can flip it like I'm doing it in the middle, but once you get to the top, you want to, you know, be sure that you're cutting it and stuff like that. So another thing, I don't know if I said it or not, but this head size is like 21 inches, and that also plays a major part in making wigs. So if the head is not the right size for you or your client, then the wig won't fit you properly. So I mean, it's best to have like a big wig, you know, and then a small wig, if you get what I'm saying. So just be mindful of the sizes of the head that you choose. I didn't get to show you guys me bleaching the knots and plucking it and stuff like that, and I also dyed it black. So I mean, I'll do another video on something like that. So if you guys get this video to 20 likes, then I'll do that for y'all. So I'm gonna keep sewing and forming that smile until I get to the very top, and then once I get to the top, I'm going to sew straight across, and you'll know when I'm at that part. So I want to also point out that I'm not sewing on the frontal at all. I'm just sewing as close as I can, basically making the track and the frontal kiss. So just to point that out, do not touch the frontal. You don't want it to be pulled in directions it don't need to be pulled in. So I'm just sewing across, closing everything out, and that's basically like the end of the video. So the next thing you do is just cut the excess cap off, and I don't even think I dyed this wig or bleached the knots until afterwards, because I didn't have the products because I was lazy. But yeah, it don't matter, like it's still gonna come out the same. But yeah, you cut the excess cap off. Make sure you be careful, because if you cut any of the thread, it'll be fucked up and you're gonna be mad and you'll have to start all over. You can also use the elastic band, the thick part of this, to use to tighten your wig. And if you enjoyed this video, subscribe, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye y'all.